I have a question for Elizabeth. So we know that in the next episode you're going to be training with Agent May.
Yes.
Can you share a little bit about that dynamic?
I mean, she's a tough trainer, and the way that May shows love, I feel like, is to be kind of hard on you so that you can protect yourself. She sees the long game. She's not bothered about the kind of, she wants to make someone strong, and I think that Simmons is is in a stage where she's feeling a lot of guilt for always having to be saved by men in particular and not being able to, protect herself, and in that moment having to ask for help. So she's dealing with a lot of the guilt of losing Will, and then with Lash killing a bunch of Inhumans. She's the way that she's trying to deal with it positively is to say, okay, well, I need to, she doesn't like guns, she doesn't have, an exciting relationship with them, but she now realizes that it's kind of, she has to educate herself a bit more because she doesn't want to be put in that position again. And May is tough.
Simmons really got a chance to shine this season, particularly with her being stranded on the planet. And though she seems to have recovered well, is that still influencing her? And how is that continuing to affect her?
Totally.
Well, you're blue.
Well, I'm blue. Spoiler alert. I'd always wanted to be blue or something, and then can you imagine in the showers watching? Anyway, whatever. That's a whole other conversation. She's carrying the guilt, and that's why she's trying to make herself stronger. I think that it's going to inform every decision that she makes from here on out, and I also think she feels more independent than ever at the moment, and just being able to get through that, and also closer to Fitz as well, and their relationship is in a great place right now. This one is always trying to ruin it, because she's...
Hi, I'm here's Fitz. I'm so enjoying being on the show with Simmons, who's my hero.
I usually do this with Ian, and so I said to Jeph, can you just pretend to be Ian at different points in case I feel lonely without.
And now she regrets it enormously. But the person who really regrets it is Ian, who's sitting at home going, wait, something's happening.
But yes, so it's changed her perspective on her relationship with Fitz, and I think now they're just concentrating on moving forward.
I think I do Ian as a Keebler elf. That's sort of what it is. Oh, it's going to be so
You always
great.
get low as well, very low. I don't know if that answered your question.
Okay, so with season 3, the plotline seems to be very focused on the Inhumans. Are we going to see, because the turmoil between S.H.I.E.L.D. and with the world seems to be kind of mimicking Civil War. Are we going to see more of that, because we're already seeing countries coming in saying, Inhumans, we need to control them, we need to put them somewhere. Are we going to see that magnify with Civil War coming in? How strong is that influence going to be with the Registration Act?
Well, I know that's your trick way of trying to get me to commit and tell you what we're actually going to do.
Wind around.
But look, the thing that you always trap me into, and then I get in a lot of trouble, which is to say hashtag it's all connected, and then someone yells at me on Monday. But what Marvel always has done best is to take the events that are happening in the real world, put them through a prison, and have them come out into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And there's never been a time that at least I can remember where man's intolerance towards other men, where humanity and inhumanity are so closely related to each other, and that whether it is about race or whether it's about gender or whether it's about a religion, we've got to somehow figure it out, and that what is happening every day in the news, whether it's happening in politics or whether it's happening in just terrible stories that we're getting all the time. That's really, in many ways, the story of what do we do about Inhumans? What do we do about powered people? Should they be destroyed? Should they be put someplace else? Should they be registered? Any of those things. And so that's what's currently happening in the Marvel Universe. And so, in that way, whether we're telling that story thematically or whether or not they're telling that story thematically in Civil War, those are the kinds of things that I think we can look at. And what's exciting for us is knowing that we're going to go into season 4, that we can start to plan and see what's going to happen to our world and how it can change and what will happen to S.H.I.E.L.D. and what will happen to the people on S.H.I.E.L.D.
Can you share a little bit about Marvel's Most Wanted?
No.
Look, it was something that we talked about at the very beginning of the season. One of the things that's very exciting about my job as the head of Marvel Television is that I get to play with all the toys in the box. And when it wasn't just that we were incredibly lucky that our cast embraced the characters of Bobby and Hunter, and also at the same time Agent Mac and also Lincoln, but it was also that there's a character in Bobby Morse that has a legacy and opens a door to a world that much in the same kind of way, and I think that's one of the things that makes Marvel so exciting is that when you look at a movie like Guardians of the Galaxy, that it's very different from Captain America: Winter Soldier, or that when you take a look at when you get to see Doctor Strange, how different that's going to be from, let's call it, an Avengers film. And so, but we've been doing that also. And so, in the same kind of way, the thing that brought about the street level heroes that we've been doing on Netflix, or the Hell's Kitchen heroes, as we refer to them sometimes, it's very different from what's going on in Agent Carter or what's going on in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And so when we first started talking about Most Wanted, it was important that it goes to a new place, that it doesn't feel like, S.H.I.E.L.D. Cincinnati, for those of you that understand what that means. And so but there is a world that exists in the Marvel Universe that has characters like Dominic Fortune that we've never met before, that live in the gray. They're not in the black and they're not in the white. They're characters who are very comfortable being like not quite moral and not quite bad. And so when you get to go into that world, the simplest way of looking at the show is that it's Mr. and Mrs. Smith in the Marvel Universe, but they're not assassins. They're actually in a much more complicated kind of place, which is those kinds of people who, when the phone rings and you look down and there's been, X number of dollars put in your bank account, that the person that was your friend has now suddenly got a gun to your head. That's a different story. That's something that we've not seen before. And that's something we haven't seen on television before. It doesn't look like S.H.I.E.L.D. It doesn't look like any of our other television shows. It has an entirely different score, and it's got an amazing cast. And so we're obviously super excited about it, and hope that ABC feels the same way. But we're very early on in that process of everyone getting to see it.